When I was 7, I took one bite of steak from dinner, and my stepmother smashed 3 of my fingers with a fireplace poker. My stepfather stood at the door smoking, saying I was a burden, something that should have been gotten rid of long ago. That night was one of the coldest snowstorms Chicago had seen in years. They drove me out to a garbage transfer station on the edge of the city and left me there without looking back. I survived in the snow for 3 days. By the second, hunger had dulled the pain. By the third, my body felt like it was slowly fading away. That afternoon, digging under rotting vegetables, I found a crumpled missing person flyer soaked in dirty water. The girl in the photo looked about my age. She wore a red puffered jacket and smiled like she belonged to a completely different world. She had been missing for 5 years. And for the first time, I realized maybe someone had once searched for me like that. I picked up a shard of broken mirror and looked at my face, filthy, hollow, almost unrecognizable. But the eyes, they were nearly identical to hers. There was a small mole behind her right ear. I had one too. Same spot, same shape. The flyer said her parents were offering a $100,000 reward. The number felt unreal, like something from another life. I didn't want the money. I was just cold. So cold I could barely think. I just wanted someone who would look for me in a storm, even once. With numb fingers, I dug out the only thing in my pocket, a quarter. I staggered to a payphone on the corner, barely tall enough to reach the keypad. My fingers trembled as I dialed. Each number felt like stepping into something I wasn't supposed to touch. The phone rang 3 times. Short, but unbearably long. On the third, someone picked up. Hello? A woman's voice. Hoarse, like she had cried too many times. Then suddenly, she broke. Sweetheart. Is that you? There was no doubt in her voice, only desperate certainty. Like she had grabbed the last thread holding her together. I opened my mouth. No sound came out. I hadn't spoken in so long. It felt like my voice no longer belonged to me. But she heard it. The faint, shaky sound of my breathing. Please talk to me. Where are you? Her voice shattered through the receiver. Through the street, straight into me. My hand shook violently. I could barely stand. Something wet kept running down my face. I couldn't tell if it was melted snow or tears. Then a sharp tone. Dead line. Everything went silent. Only the wind, only the snow. I stood there, not moving, not crying, like nothing had happened. 20 minutes later, sirens cut through the storm. Red and blue lights tore open the night. A police car screeched to a stop. A woman stumbled out, almost falling as she ran toward me. The moment she saw me, she collapsed into me, holding on like I might disappear again. It's you. It's really you. Her hands kept touching my face, over and over, like she needed proof I was real. I froze in her arms. I didn't know whether to push her away. No one had ever held me like that before. They took me to a hospital. The lights were so bright I couldn't keep my eyes open. Doctors examined me, documenting every old injury. Their voices grew heavier with each note. Severe malnutrition, multiple untreated fractures, broken fingers that had never healed properly. The police stood nearby, their expressions hardening. This wasn't a missing child case. This was long-term abuse. That night, they took my DNA. The woman never left my side. She held my hand like if she let go, I would vanish again. 48 hours later, the results came back. 99.9% match. No doubt. I was their daughter. The one who had been missing for 5 years. She collapsed to the floor, sobbing. I knew it. I knew you were alive. She kept repeating it, like it was the only thing keeping her standing. I looked at her and felt nothing. No excitement. No relief. Just emptiness. Because I had never imagined someone would come looking for me. The next week, I was placed into the child protection system, therapy, evaluations, recovery, day by day. I started to speak again, from single words to full sentences. I told them everything. The basement. The locks, the darkness, the sounds that weren't allowed to exist. The police followed every detail. They found the house, got a warrant, broke in. The basement door was still locked. Everything matched my story. She was arrested. Even then, she struggled, denying everything. When she saw me, she didn't look afraid. She looked angry. You dared to tell? Her voice hadn't changed. But this time, no one stood with her. The officers restrained her. Charges were read out. Kidnapping, unlawful confinement, long-term abuse of a minor, each one enough to bury her for years. They put her in a car, and just like that, she disappeared from my world. The day the case went public, reporters crowded outside the station. Cameras pointed straight at me. They asked why I made that call. I paused, then said quietly, because she was looking for me. They asked if I had been afraid. I looked at the crowd. I was more afraid that no one was. Later, I went back to school. I had my own room. Meals every day, on time. I learned how to speak. How to feel. How to believe the world wasn't only darkness. Not every door stays locked. Not everyone leaves you behind. One day, my therapist asked, "What do you think would have happened if you never made that call?" I thought about it for a long time. Then I said, "I would have kept living under a name someone else gave me." She nodded. And as I looked out the window at the sunlight, I understood something clearly. For the first time, some people aren't abandoned because they're not worth keeping. They're abandoned because they finally escaped where they never belonged.